right. Well, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking with one of the new brands for the Experience More Tour, Burton. Certainly not a new brand at all, but new for us. And it's just going to be a really fun conversation speaking with Claire and Burton about their kids, toddlers, and glove program, which, as you know, is some of the very best in the industry, using the best tech. And Claire is the product manager who's really been the person to bring all this to us. So, it's been an honor to meet you, Claire. Just your knowledge of gloves, of the kids program at Burton, even just the knowledge you share with Burton is just it's awesome, and we're lucky to have you. I can really consider this a real win to be able to bring you in today. So welcome, Claire. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. And this is our second talk, which is
Yep.
great. Excited that you invited me back, which is nice.
Of
As
course.
far as the confidence that people might have, it might also be category specific. Like they might know a lot about Burton, Gore-Tex, and outerwear, but maybe haven't dabbled as much in like the Burton glove Gore-Tex
Hmm.
offering. So I could see where there's a breadth of knowledge about Burton Gore-Tex in some of the listeners.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's products that have been in the stores for quite some time, and yeah, and if you don't yet own a pair of Burton gloves, do yourself a favor and go out and pro deal some here after this, because really just the best in the industry. And we'll explore some of the why behind that. And then Claire, I just personally just appreciate that you're making amazing kids and toddlers products. I just know, having had toddlers a while ago, it was just really frustrating trying to find stuff that was truly waterproof and truly could keep them comfortable out there. Of
Yeah, and I will add it takes a team, so I can't take any of the credit.
course.
I have a great team that I work with and have worked with for a number of years, and Burton as a whole is such a phenomenal team from coming up with the concept, the need, to the product actually landing in stores and all the help that you get from customer service as well. So the whole line of people who work to help to get this product to the right end user really works a lot together, and it's a great team. So I can't take the credit, but
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I can only imagine the talent that you have on your team and how you, as a manager, kind of bring all that talent together yeah, and share and create something really great, which is what we're seeing in the products. So, yeah, a little bit more about your job specifically. So, how long have you worked at Burton? And what do you, if give me the like a one sentence pitch on sort of what you do, what do you see yourself doing at Burton?
for sure. So I've been at Burton for 10 years, about 7 years in product, started in customer service. It's a great way to learn about the brand and the
Yeah.
company and the people, kind of the foundation of the brand, and then moving into product. I work on a variety of categories from kids, outerwear and apparel, socks, gloves, headwear, bags,
Wow.
so a multitude. But what I actually do is collecting inputs from across the board of customer feedback, customer insight, customer needs, to warranty reports, data reviews, and taking all that information and filtering it down to look at trends and needs, and then building multi-year strategies for the product of how we want to what we want to come to life and how we want that to come to life. And then bringing the team together to make that happen. It's kind of the synopsis of what I do, I'd say.
Right, so you're thinking years out, and so you're kind of like looking years out. You're also working in this year, which like for right now, you're working in just next year, right? So you're kind of always you have to have your head in lots of different places at once to make all this work. What's it feel like when you have like a product that you've been working on for 2, 3 years to finally come to market?
Oh, it's incredible. It is one of the best feelings. When all the hard work comes to life and you see it in store. And then even better when you're at the mountain and you see it on somebody.
Mhm.
Even from as simple as a colorway or a print to a brand new product, it definitely creates stoke and excitement. The team, when you talk so much for at first of like on paper, you have the drawings, the colors, the concepts, and then to actually see it in a physical form, and you're like, whoa, that's really cool.
Right.
So it's definitely exciting. And then right now we have a whole bunch of new kids product in the store, so keeping a lens on what the customers are saying. We do a lot of field testing and getting feedback that way, but then when it's out to a higher volume of customers using the product, it's like exciting to see, good or bad, what kind of feedback
Mhm.
comes, because then you start navigating your next what's the next move
Hmm.
of what we want to do to either to improve or keep it the same.
Yeah, that's fascinating, and right, it's got to be that thrill to see your product out there and see somebody really enjoying it, and or like you said, like giving feedback, right? That's what you want to hear, and sort of validating a bit about what you've gone through. And you brought up toddler, you brought up kids, right? And I want to focus in on that because I do think this is quite unique. How do you consider yourselves like developing a product for a toddler, right? Do you interview the toddlers? Like Burton has this concept of listen to the writer, right? Always listen to the writer. How does that work in the kids and toddlers product?
Totally. So as I mentioned, I do work on the entire kids category,
Yeah.
for soft goods, that is. And for 25, we had a new product line come out that is focused on giving the customer more performance and functionality. And how did we get there? So we got there by first identifying what the problem is. You don't
Hmm.
want to change product just to change product. You want to change product to solve a challenge for a consumer. So for this customer, toddler and kids, which gives us a range of age from 18 months up to 13 years or so. And our problem to solve was how might we make it so kids and parents are able to stay on snow longer. We wanted to be able to put a not a total end, but maybe a later timeline on when the tantrums and the coldness or the wetness actually happens. And that's like the day ender that makes it so you're going home or you're going inside. Like, how do we extend that timeline? And going back to what Jake always believed in of listening to the rider, that goes back all the way to Craig Kelly. He was one of the first riders who really helped build product based on his feedback. Um, so for the Burton Kids update, we really wanted to hone in on how do we make this gear, make it so the product can help the person stay out on the snow longer. And as you mentioned, it's not so easy to interview toddlers, so we did interview parents. And we started off with what's called empathy interviews. So rather than just asking them, what do you want? Because sometimes a customer might not know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
That's where we start identifying the problems to solve. And to do that, we just have them talk through the day, like from your home all the way to on hill to when the day ends. Talk us through what's going on, where are the challenges, where are the hiccups, where do people lose comfort or get wet or whatever it might be. We wanted to hear about that. So in interviewing a whole bunch of people or customers, we were able to find trends that we saw,
Hmm.
features or jobs to be done by the product that we could identify that were important and prioritize those to the must have, the nice to have, or don't need.
Hmm.
And then also identify what are parents willing to invest a little bit more in. And in the end, waterproofing and durability were the areas where parents are willing to invest more, but also the purchasing levers that are super important as to why they buy. And we wanted to inject that knowledge. And Burton's always had durable and waterproof kids product, but how do we make it even better? And
Hmm.
that's the product that's in store right now is the end result of that. One of them being this toddler one piece is the Cadillac of all Cadillac one pieces. It's called the
Yeah.
Toddler Gore-Tex Outbeam one piece. And this is kind of we put everything we learned into this one style. It's definitely a higher price point, but it solves a lot of those problems for the parent and the kid, adding more comfort, adding dryness and functionality that's based on the kid as the user, not just a trickle down of adult features. So building the features that kids really need. And it really shows up in this style example um, on the back of the one piece. And I did bring a proto just to better
Oh,
show.
nice.
On the back of the one piece, this is not the right color to what's in store. So um, proto lenses is a built-in handle to help with
It's awesome.
learning how to snowboard or ski, getting on the lift, whatever the parent needs to do to get that kid off the snow. Because we took that from watching people on
Mhm.
snow. We even interviewed instructors as well. And they're always trying to grab other areas. So giving a
Mhm.
purposely built area that fits gloves and mittens so that can help get the kid up off the snow. The other feature that's really cool is the backup mittens. So sometimes kids lose mittens.
Yes, they
Sometimes they
do.
just turn out they hate the mittens they have on right then.
Uh-huh.
So these are mittens that deploy. They're built into the one piece. They're lightweight with like a light fleece lining, and they go over the kid's
Oh,
hand
good.
and lock into place. And there you maybe extended your day a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, they can tuck back in. So when all else fails, you have a little bit extra. Um,
I
so
mean,
this
that's
thing,
such a game changer, and yeah, Kristen, I mirror you on that, right? Because I just again, it's about extending the day, right? We've made this huge investment to get up, go riding for the day. Got everything together, been up since 6 a.m. You get up there, and then if it's 2 hours in, they like lose their glove and their hands are cold. Okay, I'm either hanging in the lodge or I'm driving home now, right? And this ability to have this like backup mitten that's dry, that's ready to go, like it's such. I mean, that's the cool little details that you put into there, Claire. It's
yeah, the team
fascinating.
is full of people who are just like real passionate about the kids' product. So we're able to think like the parent, take all the insights that we learned and try to solve those problems. So that piece is filled with tons more bells and whistles, but those are some of the features that are specifically put in there for toddler needs, which is really cool.
It's so cool, and the fact that you're able to use Gore-Tex in this and decided that that was a priority for you to be able to go with durable waterproofness, windproofness, and breathability. How was that decision made? I mean, that's going to affect the price point. What were you weighing there, and how in the end did you opt in with Gore-Tex?
Definitely. And we have a variety of price points
Yes.
offered in toddlers and kids, but knowing that waterproofing and durability were the top must-have jobs to be done of our gear, Gore-Tex is really important. And in the line in 25, toddler just has this one style, but we've expanded our kids offering as well. We have an insulated jacket and bib along with a shell jacket and pant in the line for kids. So
Mhm.
there's more options for
Yeah.
layering. Um, and we might have the most Gore-Tex out of, don't take me for word, but out of all companies for kids specifically. And that's just something that we kept in mind of like kids are the hardest testers of all the product. We were talking about it earlier of just like these are the people or the users who are sitting in the snowbank. A lot of our customers are wearing this for recess, so it's
Yeah.
not just like the nice
Hmm.
fluffy snow, it's like a puddle,
Hmm.
uh, mud, and some snow sometimes, the slide that goes into a puddle of snow and mud. So they're really the testers that
Yeah.
need the highest performance materials on their gear.
Yeah, I mean they are absolutely right. I think of the Gore-Tex products I brought with my kids, and I got 2, 3 seasons, and then handed it down to the next kid because they could go out and use it at recess, because they could kind of use it all the time, and that durability was is key. And I could throw it in the washing machine. I was washing the Gore-Tex weekly, and it that's good for it, right? It was being able to have a product that is just super easy to maintain is also crucial. Uh, and I got introduced more into the kids toddler world in Burton with your glove program, making just making these super high quality Gore-Tex gloves for kids, right? And these have also been game changers for me in general. And this is you put some effort into redesigning these as well this season.
So these ones are a brand new style that we haven't had before, and it was an outcome of the interviews and looking at our product offering. We have kids Gore-Tex styles, glove and mitt, but we never had a toddler specific Gore-Tex style. So this was something that we felt was really important to bring to the line for 25, and it's in stores now. So it is the first toddler Gore-Tex mitt that we have that I believe in the market too. There might be some that go down small, but not full toddler style. So identifying again the pillars that we had for the outerwear was really important for the glove program also. So durability, waterproofing is what the parent is looking for. And I would say ease of use also is another pillar that we look to, especially for toddler, knowing it's the parent who's usually putting this glove on. So from that perspective, how do we make that easier? So it has the Gore-Tex membrane in the glove,
Hmm.
and then other things that make it easier is the asymmetrical thumbs, as you'll see. So it can go on either hand.
Ah,
We've identified that toddlers kind of have a hard time finding the glove slot, so we wanted to make that easier for them and the parents. In addition, we have a nice stretchy gauntlet that can go over the jacket. And then we also have two side pulls here, so the parent can grab that and pull it on. And again, that's from observation of just watching parents um, try to wrestle putting a mitten on a toddler. And then another update is all toddler gloves do have a leash on them. If a
mhm,
parent doesn't want it, they can cut it off,
mhm.
but this helps. Maybe you won't lose quite as many gloves
Yeah, because
and
those
mitts.
gloves are coming off constantly, right? They don't stay on all day like they are for us. And so, yeah, being able to have that leash is absolutely key.
Yeah.
Just a few
So we're really
questions.
excited to have this in the line this
Yeah,
year.
I think it's great, right? And really cool to be able to have something for customers looking for that, just the best. Yeah, I want the best. I'm going up. I want my day to extend. I want waterproofness. I want my kids' hands to be um, dry. And I love that they're asymmetrical, or sorry, they're symmetrical, because if you were to lose one, in theory, you could buy another pair and you have now two backups, right? We have a question here about the kids market in general. Are you seeing growth in the kids market, or is it flat, or and you're just kind of coming into it to grow it? What's the kids market looking like?
As far as growth, I don't have the exact numbers of the market. I
Hmm.
would say it depends on which category again. But as far as opportunity, there's definitely an opportunity in the kids market. There's not a ton of performance and functional gear that's made for the kid that is going to be out on snow for long periods of time or even short periods of time, but to withstand the abuse that they give. So as far as opportunity, Burton really sees a chance to be the leader. This whole project that we did, I kind of termed like, let's lead the kids market of how do we make that gear stand out and perform better than what's out there. We do choose the GORE-TEX membranes because they do offer that waterproof and breathability.
Yeah.
So you do get less of that buildup of moisture in the glove and mitt.
Right. So yeah, definitely needing to have the waterproof, windproof, and breathability. Our sweat glands perspire all the time, whether you're a kid or not. Maybe kids don't smell, but they do sweat. Has been my experience for sure.
They do a lot
Um,
of running around, so there is definitely some warmth they
Yeah.
create.
And then moisture can get introduced also into the glove from other ways or into the system from, snow getting into you. Or maybe they took off their suit and rolled around in the snow and now they're wet. And so now we need to be able to dry out from the inside out as well. So having the breathability for that is absolutely crucial. So we move here into kids, away from toddlers, right? So now we get into, more, they look a lot more like adult products, but they're not yet adult products, right? So what are some of the differences between kids and adults in the gloves?
There's a lot of similarities as far as the performance and function. Some of the differences is in for 25, we've actually attempted to lock more of the snow out for the kids. These are meant to be um, put outside the jacket, so we extended the width and the length of the gauntlets to make it a little bit easier to go around the jacket, cinch, and lock out that snow.
Nice.
Um, in addition, just working on continued attention on the durability to make sure that these stand up to the test. And we've always looked to being PFAS free for the kids and having these as blue sign gloves as well. So that's similar to the adults, but making sure that that's in kids as well. Kids was actually our first collection that had the PFAS free offering across gloves and outerwear and such.
Yeah, right. We got that in there, that technology in there first, and now the whole line is going to be PFAS free. And it is. You brought up Blue Sign. It is actually an interesting partnership in that, it seems from my understanding, is Burton really you pushed us to ensure that all gloves would be Blue Sign certified. At the time, they weren't all, and you were like, well, we really need our gloves, our complete glove package to be Blue Sign. So that means your component Gore needs to be Blue Sign as well. And so we did the work on our end to get there, and you pushed us for that. And now all gloves are all of the Gore-Tex components in any glove out there is Blue Sign certified. So that was this partnership and bringing this forward, and then the whole industry benefits from your vision at Burton, Claire.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
really
really good example of the relationship with GORE-TEX and Burton, which isn't a new relationship by any means. I think we're 30 years deep in that.
mhm.
I don't remember the exact year again. It might have been 91, but that's a great TK question there. But we have
It did start
Lots
with
of
gloves,
gear.
though, that I know. So this is where it began.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to save a little time here because I want to pop into adult gloves. And Mira, we see your question. So, women with small hands can use kid gloves and mittens. Absolutely, right? I mean, we're actually getting the same Gore-Tex insert, just a slightly smaller size. But when we get into growing up, we start to get into a lot more offerings, a lot more variety, as some of the writers are going to have different needs, different sets of needs for their glove wear. Here we see a few gloves up here. Let's begin with the upper left with the Gore-Tex, what you call the Gore-Tex gloves, right? And I just want to mention that your Gore-Tex price point gloves, right, which are actually featuring one of our plus technologies, which is plus warm, meaning that they've gone through our plus warm certification process, which means that you have added enough insulation in there to keep our hands warm for a half hour of inactivity. And that's a test that we run, and if it passes, it gets this plus warm certification, which is awesome. So knowing that when you sell the Gore-Tex gloves and the Gore-Tex mitts, our hands are going to be warm as well as dry.
Yep,
So
it's a really a great glove for anyone. It was built primarily for that resort user who's on the lift and then riding also. And when they get the Plus Warm, it's looking at the entirety of the glove that has to be tested. So the main body to the insulation and the membrane all works together holistically to create that Plus Warm and get certified then. And at a lower than $100, I believe it's $85, this is a great go-to glove for anybody. And we offer it in glove, mitt, over and under silhouette, so under the jacket or over the jacket for men's and women's.
so
So
many options, right? I mean,
yeah,
yeah, in my opinion, right, if somebody's buying a jacket to go skiing, you should get them in a pair of gloves, right? And this is the first thing I would grab would be one of the Burton gloves. Like, okay, you got options here. Let's try them on, right? For 85 bucks, you're guaranteed to keep you dry. You're going to be warm. Like, start here. Um, but now you have other writers who are asking for other feature sets, and this is where we get into some of these more specialized gloves. What are you hearing from writers, like what they wanted for instance, in the clutch leather gloves?
yeah, so rider like our team riders and just riders in general, we're always listening to. Team riders have been a voice in the input for years. As I mentioned, like that was always so important to Jake. So the Gore-Tex Plus Grip, as I said, we design our product line based on the end use and the conditions that a customer is going to be riding in. Gore Grip is intended more for that backcountry enthusiast, but could actually work for anybody, and it's in the AK clutch. And this is the grip happens because of the bonded materials between the membrane and the outer shell
Mhm.
and the lining, so that you don't have as much movement within the fingers and added dexterity. So if you're unzipping your backpack, grabbing your poles, grabbing something out of your backpack, if you're looking for ultimate dexterity, this is the technology that you want to go with.
Yeah, it's a neat technology, right? Ben, if you can pop up slide 11 just to show briefly how Gore is integrated into a glove. There's the outer fabric, which you'll spec out and source. In the case of those gloves we're looking at, it's leather. And then just underneath that will be the Gore-Tex membrane, right? And that's a complete sealed up either glove or mitt. That's an insert, we call that goes in. And generally, that's just only adhered up at the fingertips so that you don't have glove inversion. And then underneath that will be the insulation. Insulation certainly needs to go underneath that so it doesn't get wet from the outside. And then maybe there's a liner underneath that as well. So what Gore Plus Grip does is it adds an additional adhesive layer between the outer fabric, the membrane, and the insulation, strategically placing these strips that actually was quite hard to figure out the amount of stickiness to those so that these gloves could still be built, but also last. It was actually took us quite a while to develop that, but that holds the whole system together so that you have increased dexterity. And that's an additional add-on that you've put into the clutch leather gloves. And like you said, we developed the technology, and then you figured out how to best apply it for your riders, which is great. So this option exists for folks who want a little more dexterity. And then for those who are maybe doing riding in warmer climates or maybe spring riding, right? There's this whole other technology as well.
Yep. So this is another one noting that conditions can change, warmth levels, and also maybe the activity level that a customer is doing. So looking at the end use, what is this person doing with this glove? And that's one of the first like wayfinding for any customers looking for a glove is like, how do they want to use it? Where are they using it? What is the general temperature of what they're doing? Like, are they on the West Coast, on the East Coast? Where are they planning to use this? So the active is one, and this has more of a soft shell on the outside rather than leather, in addition to the GORE-TEX Plus Active, and this is the AK GORE-TEX Clutch Mitten. But the goal is of this and to had enhanced breathability. So all GORE-TEX membranes have waterproofing and breathability, but this one in particular has a little bit more enhanced breathability, so that you don't get quite as much moisture in there, and there's a little bit more of the moisture leaving the glove, and leaving you less clammy on the inside is the goal of this glove, and that would be the customer that you're looking for that style.
Yeah, right. So if we get a customer maybe who's just, hi, I have really sweaty hands, right? This is be a place to point them, or somebody who's going off riding in warmer climates. It's just a great option for somebody who's really concerned about breathability. And this just opens up the breathability a little bit more by choosing particular materials that are going to be optimized for breathability. Well, Claire, it is fun to do this. I want to keep talking with you, but we are going to wind this down. And really interesting to get that tour through how you consider building products for the rider, and then specifically looking into what we talked about with the toddler, right? Getting that empathy interview. I like that concept, right? And then observing how folks are using your gear, and then thinking about how can we improve. And certainly, I mean, I don't have a toddler anymore. I can't say I wish I did, but if I did, this would be the place I would be pointing them. But as retailers, certainly, if as you see folks come in, I do think that as parents, we can value having just that idea of like extending our day out and having gear that really helps us with that. And the thoughtfulness that you've put into all this gear is just is excellent, and it shows. So
Yeah, the product there's something for everyone in the Burton Gore line,
yes, there
or
is.
glove and mitt line. So just identifying what the customer is looking for based on how they would say, what are they doing, where are they going,
Mhm.
how long are they going to be out, that can help navigate and pick the right style for them, because everything's been built with a specific intent to the customer and the why.
Yeah, and yeah, it shows, right? And so as retailers, it's our responsibility to know all those different levels and make the right recommendations to folks. So thank you for helping us sort of navigate some of that with some of your knowledge, giving us some insight into how these products came to be. And I look forward to chatting with you in the future, Claire, when you have more coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, 30 minutes goes too fast, so we'll
It
have
goes
to do
really
it again
fast.
sometime.